This is the Doctor, President-elect of the High Council of Time Lords.
I am definitely a madman with a box.
Anyone for jelly, baby?
I'm the Doctor. I'm 904 years old. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Castoporus.
Hey Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And we're at episode 60.
Hey, the big 60.
The big 60. 60 episodes old.
Wow. What? How did that happen?
I was just about to say that. How did we get there?
I don't know. I suppose they fly by because we do them weekly. They sort of fly by, don't they?
Yes, that's a good point, yeah. As the weeks roll by. It was weird, actually, when I very first started doing the podcast. I think I remember on the very first show, when I was that very first one, when I was all nervous and bumbly. I think I said something like, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do this weekly or fortnightly. I'm not quite sure yet. But
I remember, because I listened to you right from the beginning before I joined. Yeah, I remember you saying stuff like that, and sort of sometimes you'd be one a week, and then there'd be like a 3-week gap, and I think, oh, he's gone. Yeah. Then you come back. Yeah.
So I'm glad we've got a schedule.
Yeah, it's good. I do. Being a geek, I like my schedules. I like my lists.
Oh, yeah, we're like
love all that.
Huge like OCD about stuff, aren't we?
Oh yeah. Well, are you as bad as me? Because I'm terrible.
I am. Yeah. I don't think we'd get on that well with old Colin Baker, you know.
No.
I just think, his hatred of lists and all that stuff, we'd just clash, I think.
Yeah.
But no, it's great. Thank you for joining us for episode 60. It's all good. And it's kind of at the beginning of series 9 as well. So we've got quite a few weeks more until that's up. How many episodes is it in this series?
So we're 4 in so far. This week's is 5, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've got another 10.
Is it?
Another 8, something like that.
Which is good because I tell you what, I don't know about you, but obviously not talking about this week's episode, but so far, pretty strong series, I think. Series 9.
I would agree, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
that might change after today's review. We don't know. Don't want to give anything away, but yeah, so far looking good, and I'm loving Saturdays. Although I have missed a couple. I don't know about you, but I do like to watch it live. And the last 2 weeks, I haven't been able to watch it live. I don't know about you, so I've sort of come in, but it's good because I was sort of, even if it's late, I've been like desperate to watch it on the night, so I'll come in and put it on. But I think, what was it? Not Before the Flood, Under the Lake. I think I ended up watching about sort of 11:30 at night, and it's good though. I like the fact I'm still keen to watch it because I think during the Matt years it sort of slightly waned a bit. Like I'd think, I'll watch it tomorrow if I missed it, stuff like that. Whereas Capaldi, I just have to watch it as soon as possible.
Yes.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think we're all like that at the moment because he's kind of hitting his stride at them, and he's really into it, and it's such great Doctor Who at the moment. I think we're all like that. We all really want to watch it as it comes on, and it was really cool as the lead up to series 9 as well, when everybody was saying, how are you going to watch it? You're at home, you're going out somewhere. So it's good that everyone's getting together to watch it as well on a Saturday night.
Actually, that's the other good thing is I have to watch it soon because there's obviously loads of people chat about it afterwards, and I love going on the forums and just seeing what people have thought of the episodes and stuff. I think travelling back on Saturday, I'd obviously already seen the episode because we get the preview, but I had sort of got back in time to watch it on the proper telly, which I still enjoy more. It's great seeing them early, but I just love watching it properly on the TV. And it was just great travelling back on Saturday and just reading all the comments and seeing what people had thought of the episode and stuff. I love it. There's so much discussion going on around this series. Yeah, which is brilliant.
It is good because there's always loads of opinions flying around, isn't there?
Yes.
Always loads of chatter and opinions and stuff like that. But in a way, it's really good because it just shows that the show is still as popular as ever. And if, the whole world, basically, it feels like the whole world's talking about it, especially after an episode is finished on a Saturday night. And, Twitter's going crazy and that sort of stuff. It is very good. Despite anyone's negative, opinions and all that stuff, it just shows that it's as popular as ever.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because I mean, I know there's been a lot of discussion in the last few weeks about ratings being down and stuff like that, but I'm not worried about that. I'll only worry when people stop talking about it.
Yeah.
That's when I'll worry. When people are not talking about Doctor Who, I think that's when you worry. But I'm not too concerned about the ratings, to be honest, because they get bumped up with all the, overlights don't really mean anything, but they get bumped up over the week. But yeah, everybody's talking about it, which is great.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so before we get on to some newsy bits and our review of Before the Flood, you been up to anything cool?
Well, we're sort of kind of living parallel lives, I reckon, this week, mate, because I've been listening to Doom Coalition, and I know you've been listening to Doom Coalition, the new Eighth Doctor audio from Big Finish. Yeah, I don't know how far you've got. I've listened to the first story, which is called The 11.
Me too. I've finished disc 1, essentially. Yeah.
That's it, yeah. And I'm hoping, it might not happen, but I'm hoping I'll get a chance to listen to the next part today because, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved it. I was doing the ironing yesterday. I had it on full blast and I found myself really engaged in it because sometimes I do zone out a bit. I don't realise I'm doing it, but if I'm doing, I often listen to Big Finish when I'm doing other things. So sometimes I zone out a bit and then I'm like, oh, what's going on? I found that I was really engaged in this one.
Yeah,
yeah,
me too. It was a spur of the moment thing for me as well because I hadn't pre-ordered it, and I got an email through from Big Finish to say, go and grab Doom Coalition now. It's on a special price sort of thing. And when I clicked on the link, and I thought, I don't know why I'm clicking on this link because I know I'm going to get to the website and it's going to be 40 odd quid, but it was still on the web special. It was £20.
Oh, cool.
So I thought, I'll just do it. So so I haven't got the physical disc yet, but I've just got the. They give you the MP3s, don't they?
Yeah, basically, as soon as it's released, you get the download. I haven't got the actual physical disc yet. I got a dispatch email, so apparently it's on its way. But yeah, same as you. I just as soon as it was in the download, I downloaded it. So yeah, looking forward to the next part of that. I think it's going to be good. I was chatting to some other Who fans in a chat actually about it, and they mistook what I said because I said, I've just listened to part 1. And they were like, and they started talking about the other story. I was like, no, I don't mean Doom Coalition part 1. I mean part 1 story. So I was like, don't say anything else. Don't tell me anymore. So, but they were sort of talking about the next story, saying they really enjoyed it and stuff. So I'm hoping to get my teeth into that either this afternoon or certainly later this week because it's good. McGann's so good, isn't he?
Oh, he's brilliant. I don't want to really talk about it too much because it's only literally just come out. So if you guys have ordered it and you haven't listened to it yet,
good point.
We'll probably speak a bit more about it next week. But it's a cracking story.
It is.
Yeah, and production-wise as well, it's like typical Big Finish. It sounds really nice, and and Paul McGann, he's really good. I love him on Big Finish.
I know. Do you know the first thing I did after listening to it because I have met Paul, and being a bit of go back to the completist OCD in me, I was thinking, I haven't got a Doctor Who picture signed by him. When I met him, I had a difficult choice because his autograph was quite expensive when I met him at Collectomania many years ago.
Hello there. Hello. You must be Adam. Hi.
Hello, Paul. God, flashbacks.
Wow, this is quite the moment.
So, Paul, very nice to meet you. You've got some Doctor Who autographs and you've got some Withnail and I autographs. And I was very torn because I've got a Withnail and I picture signed by Richard E. Grant and I wanted him to sign the other side. And so I was really, so it was difficult because I couldn't afford to get a Doctor Who picture as well. So in the end, I got him to sign the Withnail and I picture. So I've got him and Richard E. Grant on the one picture, which is awesome. I love it. But it irks me. I haven't got a signed picture of McGann in my Doctor Who autograph collection because I think, apart from Pertwee, I did meet Pertwee, but he wasn't doing autographs at the time. When I was a kid, he was like, no, I just shake hands. I don't do autographs. So I think I've got, pretty much all the others, like Tom and Peter, McCoy. I have got the 8th Doctor, but not a Doctor Who picture. So yesterday I was thinking I might just see if he's doing any conventions and that. And he's not. He's doing a lot in the US and stuff like that, but he's not doing many UK ones. And I really want to meet him again now to get a Doctor Who one because I really like him as the Doctor. Yeah,
he's very cool. And that's the OCD we were talking about. You have to have, it's that completist thing. It's not complete. It feels wrong without a proper Doctor Who autograph.
It does. Well,
Yeah.
We'll get on to what we got up to the weekend in just a minute. But I was putting away, the autographs and stuff, and from that, and yeah, I was just looking, thinking, there's a bit of a gap there. There's a McGann gap that I need to fill. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we should copyright that.
Yeah. What McGann gap?
A McGann gap. Yeah. So Parallel Lives. Yeah. So we both got Doom Coalition, which is really weird because it was like, oh, I picked up Doom Coalition. Oh, so have I. Oh, it's really good. But there was one thing that we were definitely, we're both fully aware of, and that was our trip into Chiswick in London, where we went to the October Signing Spectacular run by Phantom Films.
Yeah, first time I've been to one of their events.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm pretty impressed.
Yes, me too. There was it was one of those fairly low key, quite small events, wasn't it? It was quite quite intimate, I would say.
Very, yeah.
If you guys have been to any of these conventions, such as Collectomania or London Film and Comic Con or any of that kind of stuff, the MCM Comic Cons, it's like the total opposite. Mm-hmm. So it was in a church hall, basically.
Quite a small church hall as well, wasn't it? It was quite small.
Yeah, and there wasn't any of this because when we go to other conventions, like the big ones, you always see a load of celebs just sitting there bored out of their mind. While you've got there's like a queue of 100 people at a desk, and then next door there's a guy that was on TV like 40 years ago, and he's just sitting there checking his phone, having a cup of tea.
Yeah.
This kind of thing is completely different. So everyone that was there, I think there must have been around 60 people there, 70 people maybe.
What, signing?
No, guests.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, guests. Yeah.
Would you say about right? Wouldn't any more than that.
No,
I don't think.
No.
Yeah. So everyone there was up for, meeting the guests there and getting their autographs and stuff. So there was none of that stuff. There was like queues for everybody, not big queues, and everybody was there for that reason. So there was none of that, people sitting around doing nothing really. And it was really nice. It was really cool just to catch up with some other Who fans. We got chatting with a few people there, which is really nice. And the people that we did meet, it was really good. I mean, tell us about Daphne. She was awesome.
Daphne was great. I was going to say, one of the things I loved about this event is that you actually got to talk to the people. You didn't feel like you're just being rushed through, signed, gone. You could actually have a little chat with them. And even though there was a bit of a queue, I mean, when we met Daphne, she was so nice. And I think one of the first things she said was, I got to get a picture with you guys. And we were like, oh, right. So so suddenly we were having a picture of us with, together with our autographs. And then we wanted obviously to get pictures with her. Yeah. And we were suddenly aware that we were spending so long, in the queue, people behind us are probably going, what's going on? Come on, like you do.
yeah.
But the fact was she was so friendly and we were having such a nice chat with her that it was difficult. We were sort of aware that there were people behind us, but it was just really nice to actually be able to just chat and not just like get something signed. And it felt so much more personal, didn't it? Like you said, it was a very intimate event, and yeah, she was great. I love Daphne. She's brilliant.
She was really cool. And she recognized us almost immediately. And then she placed us wrongly. She was like, what convention did I talk to you guys at? And we had to say, no, it was on the podcast. And, she immediately was like, oh, yeah, that was really cool. And then she wanted our picture. Like, she didn't want to be in the picture. She was like, I want your guys' picture. That was really nice.
Yeah, it was. It was really cool.
And she was lovely. She was really chatty and stuff. And
I mean, we could have talked to her if you hadn't got a massive queue behind her, I think we could have gassed her all day.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say she's very sort of easy to chat to. But obviously we didn't want to keep the guys behind us waiting any longer than they already had, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yes. And then we had our stuff signed by Mr. McCoy himself.
Yeah, Sylvester. Yeah,
he was in fairly good spirits.
He was
okay. I've seen him grumpier, so it's not too bad.
Yes, he was in fairly good spirits, wasn't he? I think. I think some of the guys. Well, there was one guy that was a little bit stressy that's trying to get people through quickly. And I heard a woman say to him, the woman who was next to Sylvester, like, calm down. There's no rush. We've got plenty of time. I think he was a bit hyped up. But yeah, Sylvester seemed in quite good spirits. Yeah, he did. He was kind of bumbling through the crowd towards the end of the day, wasn't he? Do you remember when he told me to get out the way?
Oh, yeah, he was mingling a little bit, wasn't he?
He was sort of all over the shop, wasn't he? Obviously, just on his way out, he'd finished. I think that's sort of about 4 o'clock time, and
Yeah.
and he was like, "Get out of the way," and I said, "Oh, come on then," because like you said, it was busy, but that you said at the time it was a sold out event, but they could easily have sold more tickets if they wanted to. But I'm kind of glad they didn't, because it was just nice. I mean, there was a little bit of a crowd, maybe a little bit of, it wasn't too much pushing or shoving. They could have fitted more people in, but I'm kind of glad that they capped it where they did, because it made it not too crowded, but crowded enough. But you're right. If they wanted to make more money, they easily could have sold more tickets to that event. I think it could have got more people in there.
Yeah, it was cool though. And then, so I'm not sure if you caught what Sylvester said as I passed my picture to him to get autographed.
Oh, what did he say?
Yeah, so when he said who's it to, I said to Gary with 2 R's, because I've got 2 R's in my name. He was like, you're one of those peculiar Garys with the 2 R's.
Oh, did he roll the R's? Because that really grates, doesn't it? It really grates on you when he does that.
He didn't, which I was glad about.
Oh, I wish he had.
Yeah.
He did want a draw on your top, I remember. But you had the T-shirt, which has got like the 3. You've got like Tennant, Smith, and is it Capaldi? I can't remember. Yeah, you've got like the 3 doctors, but they've got no faces. It's a strange top to describe, but it's kind of. But he wanted to draw the faces on, didn't he? He said, "Is one of them me?"
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Remember, and you were like, "Oh no, they're different doctors." He's like, "Oh right," because if one of them's me, I was going to draw the face on it.
Yeah. He was funny. He was in a good mood, I think, for the most part of the day.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, and we had photos as well. We went back and had photo taken, and you got the group shot, didn't you?
I did get the group shot. I must admit, I'm so pleased that I did that, because I just love the photo. I've actually set it as my screensaver. I'm really, really chuffed I got that, because I did and ah, didn't I? Because I'd spent quite a bit of money, and I was sort of saying, gosh, that my money is depleted really quickly. I don't know if I really should spend any more. But the thing is, I'm glad I did, because when you're at these things, sometimes, if you're sort of umming and ahhing, sometimes you just got to do it. Sometimes you think, no, I've spent enough, or I don't want that, or I don't need it. But I think if you're umming and ahhing, just do it, because otherwise you get home and you're like, wish I would have regretted it if I hadn't got it.
Yeah, just go for it.
I'm so pleased with the picture. I think it's a great picture.
Yeah.
So pleased with it.
Yeah, and a couple of other people that were there were Bonnie Langford.
So nice. Love Bonnie. She's really nice.
Yeah. Sophie Eldred.
Lovely. Again, really pleasant to talk to. Yeah.
Yeah. And we also had the actress that was in Battlefield for a little while, Ling Tai.
Oh, Ling Tai, yeah. She was cool. Yeah.
She was quite nice. And we also had, is it Peter Miles, who played Nida in Genesis? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
We didn't see him, but he was, he looked okay. Who else was there? Blake!
Blake!
You were well chuffed, weren't you, with Gareth Thomas?
Gareth Thomas, because, I am the biggest Blake Seven fan. I love Blake Seven, and he was the main character, Blake. And if anyone who's listened to the last podcast will know, I was really made up when he was added to the list because I wanted to get a picture with him. He's such a nice gentleman as well. I mean, I don't know. I know you were sort of round the table when I was talking to him, but did you hear? We were just sort of chatting. He's such a nice, gentleman to chat to. So friendly. And you took a brilliant picture of me and him. I was so chuffed that I finally got a picture with him. So that was great. Blake. Who else was there? There was loads of Jeffrey Beavers. He played the Master in Keeper of Jarken. What a lovely bloke he was. In fact, everybody was just so friendly and warm. It was, I don't think there was anybody. Nobody, I didn't sort of come out there saying, "Gore, so and so is a grumpy old," like we, sometimes happens. I think we were talking while we were in the queues about celebrities we'd met and who was nice, who wasn't nice.
Kenny Baker.
Nice. I didn't want to say the name.
He's a grumpy little sod, isn't he?
I'm having my sandwich.
I'm having my sandwich. Go on, bag it off.
That's Kenny Baker. But there wasn't anyone that I can think of that was like that. They were all pretty nice. Yeah,
they were. It was a really good day. In fact, it was very, very cool, and something that really kind of finished the day off for me and made me want to cherish the memories even further. Was the hilarious memes that Matt from Who Addict sent on Twitter after.
They were great.
You cheeky cheeky bugger.
Who took the photo of you, McCoy? Was it me or was that other bloke?
That was the other guy, I think.
Yeah, so I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah. He took the pictures of because they said that when I contacted Phantom, they said you could get pictures at the table with anybody, no problem, except McCoy. But actually, on the day, once he'd done all the autographs, actually said, right, anyone who wants a picture on their own camera, come and get one now. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. So that's what we did, didn't it? We sort of all queued up, and again, didn't take long, did it? We were sort of in there, photo gone. But I couldn't remember. Yeah, a lot of the people that were with them were actually taking the photos, which was quite nice of them. But we kind of were quite happy to take our own, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were sort of saying, no, it's all right, we'll do it. But I couldn't remember if I'd taken it or he had. But he took it, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Which is good. So we got some great pictures. I was just grinning from ear to ear on the train home. I tell you, I enjoyed the day so much. And when I got home, I looked at all my autographs and stuff, and it was just brilliant. I just loved it. Loved being with other Who fans. It was great to meet up with you and just spend the day together. Geeking out. It was brilliant.
It was awesome. Yeah.
And the other thing I will just quickly say about this event, which really makes me want to go to other Phantom events, is the pricing compared to other conventions. The pricing is just so much better. I mean, it is small, it is intimate, but my goodness, I mean, when you think no autograph was over £10, so even Sylvester McCoy, and I think last time I saw McCoy, he was about 25 quid an autograph.
That's right. Yep.
£10 for an autograph from McCoy at this. A lot of them were £5 for an autograph. I think Sophie, anyone sort of fairly major was sort of £10, but that's pretty good in this day and age, I thought. And the ticket was only £10 as well. So price-wise, a brilliant convention. I definitely want to go to some more.
That's true. Yeah, it was very good value for money. Seeing I think the doors opened at 12.
Yeah.
And the guests started arriving about 12:30. It was really weird because I was waiting outside for you. I was sitting on the wall outside.
Yeah.
And Daphne breezed past. She's like, hi. I'm like, oh, hello, good morning. She's walked in, and then Sylvester just comes, hobbling past.
Yeah.
Good morning.
And, off he goes. And it's just, you would never see that at another convention, any of the larger ones. They're all kind of bundled in the back door sort of thing. And
yes.
so it's very cool. It's a really good event. If you head over to their website, I can't remember the exact URL, but just do a search for Phantom Films. It's FANTOM, Phantom Films, and then click on the events tab. And I think there's one next month, which you might try and get to if possible. It's the November signing. I think Tom Baker's there. Is that right? Is it Tom?
It's Tom. Now, yes, you're quite right, because I've started something now, and I knew this was going to happen, because I got Sylvester to sign my Regeneration set, which is a gorgeous box set. I now want all the other doctors to sign it. So as soon as I got that signed, I immediately thought, because I've met Tom quite a few times, so I was thinking, right, I really want Tom to sign his page now in this set. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get to that November one to get Tom to sign it.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
It will be good. But that also means I've got to try and get Peter and Paul, because they're quite hard to get at the minute in terms of conventions and stuff. So
yeah,
it's going to be a mission, but it's going to be my new mission.
And what a mission it will be.
It's going to be a hell of a mission.
So I think the next, if we don't get to that one in November, it will probably be the official festival next month.
Yeah. It's a week today. Sorry, not a week. A month today, isn't it? A month today.
A month
14th.
today.
We'll be there.
Yes. That's going to be cool. Looking forward. That's coming around quick.
It does. The more I go to these events, the more I just love them and look forward to the next one. I think you said it when you got home. Like, you just immediately want to go to another one after. And it's being around other Who fans, isn't it? It's being around sort of people. And we were chatting to some nice guys in the queue, weren't we? That were just, just great to talk to other Who fans. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's good. I always feel really Who'd up when I get home from these things as well, because I've geeked out with you all day, and we've, like you said, chatted to other Who fans. I just want to get home and put Doctor Who on, and just it's great. So I can't wait till the festival in November. Hoping that's going to be, and I have a feeling it's going to be a busy one, extremely busy one. But I think we're going to meet up with loads of listeners and other peeps. So it's going to be good.
It does sound like it's going to be a massive meetup. Yeah, really looking forward to it.
Sure.
So yeah,
good times,
good days.
Rightio. Shall we? Oh, one more thing before we get on with the news. Thank you very much to. Helen Jones.
Oh yes,
because she sent me a link, a reminder actually, because on last week's show I said that somebody sent me a link to the 10th Doctor Pop Funko, the special edition in the orange spacesuit.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And it was out of stock. And a few days later, Helen Jones popped up and went, they're in stock. So I jumped on that and ordered one, and I've got one. So it's on its way.
Oh, excellent.
So
cool.
Thank you, Helen. That's really, really cool. So now I've got 2 matching special editions in the orange suit.
Yeah, it's a good one, because you've got the 12th in the orange, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good ones, that. Oh, nice one. Thanks, Helen.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks. Rightio, news time. Shall we land this beast?
Yeah, let's do it.
We are fairly light on news this week.
Yeah.
So only a couple of bits. The first one is very, very cool. So John Hurt, as we know, who plays the War Doctor, was diagnosed with cancer last year, pancreatic cancer. And I was quite worried about this because he's not a young guy anymore.
No.
He's knocking on a bit. And 9 times out of 10, really, really unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, when you get people of this age who have been diagnosed with cancer, it's not always easy for them to try and beat it. But John Hurt has revealed in the last, I think it was yesterday, when he was doing an interview with somebody, that he's actually kicked cancer's ass. He's been given the all clear.
Yeah.
Which is just awesome news because although I don't think we're going to see too much of him in the show on TV, I think we might see the odd thing, but they've just announced, haven't they, a big series of audio adventures for him.
Yes, on Big Finish, yeah.
Yeah, so that's really, really cool. That and he's really, really, really kind of enthusiastic and sort of raring to go. So I can imagine, the kind of feeling he's got where it's that huge amount of relief.
Oh, yeah.
To have that news that, it's all been cleared up and he's got the all clear. And I think he said in that interview that he's now, ready to rock and roll and wants to just get on and work. So really, really cool news. John Hurt's been given the all clear. So we can look forward to many years, hopefully, of some Big Finish stuff from him.
Yes, I'm certainly looking forward to that War Doctor set that's coming out December, I believe, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So really looking forward to that. He's due to appear at one of the Showmasters Collectomania events. Believe it's the Brighton one.
Brighton, yes.
As far as I know, I mean, he might be doing other ones as well. But I was looking at it today, and that's on the 7th to the 8th of November. So only a couple of weeks away.
That was meant to be the London one.
That's right. They moved it, didn't they?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So
he's going to be at that. So it'd be good. I'm really. It's great news, and like I said, we sort of wish him well and everything. So it's good to see him back on his feet. Yeah.
Yeah. Good on you.
Really good. Good on you, John. Right. In other news, this is a strange one actually, but a good bit of news. Because can you believe it? It's 2 years since Web of Fear and Enemy of the World came out. Is that even possible?
Where does the time bloody go?
I can't believe it.
Yeah,
it's 2 years. But obviously, when they got released, they were just vanilla releases, so they didn't have any sort of extras, anything at all on them.
Yeah.
So anyway, Phantom Films, who we were talking about earlier, who did the convention that we went to, they've announced that they've got a special project on the go, and they're going to release 2 commentary tracks for each one. So it's going to be a commentary track for Enemy, commentary track for Web, and it's going to be moderated by the brilliant Toby Haydock. I love Toby. He's really, really good on the commentaries and keeping people going. And I suppose, when I first read this, I was thinking, so how does this work? But basically, it's going to be released on CD or download, and I guess the idea is you just play it along while watching it, and it'll be just like having a director's commentary on each story, if you like, which is quite nice. It's a really nice sort of idea. It does make me think then, does that mean the BBC aren't doing anything? Because I assume they would have had to have got the go-ahead at some point from them to do this. I don't know quite how it works, actually.
No, I think it's completely independent. Because there's no logo to the BBC or the Doctor Who logo. It's a completely independent thing.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
And it's no different to the commentaries that we do, mate.
I suppose not, actually. That's a very good point. Yeah. So it's a nice idea, and it's got some good people involved. Deborah Watling is going to be doing the commentary on both of them. You've got, I think, is our mate John Levine on there? I believe he is. He
The
must
Web of
be.
Fear. Yep,
yes,
he is.
he's on the Web of Fear. Of course he is, with Derek Martin as well. You've also got some of the other people that were in it. Milton Johns. Do you remember Milton Johns? He was one of
No.
those you would do. He's one of those actors that just you probably wouldn't know the name, but he used to pop up all the time in everything. Like, he was just one of these. Do you know what I mean? Back in the sort of 70s and 80s, you used to get these actors, like bit part actors, that just popped up in everything.
Right.
And that's doing him a bit of an injustice, because he's a great actor, actually. But yeah, he's doing a commentary on there as well. So yeah, these are really two great little releases, I think.
Yeah. There's
and then
one also. There's one that I'm quite interested in listening to as well. It's the Web of Fear commentary. And for the Still Missing and Unaccounted For episode 3, they're going to have a lady called Sue Malden from who's a former BBC archivist. Archivist. And she's going to give an insight into the BBC's policies of wiping and archiving material.
Oh, that should be good.
And just kind of missing TV in general and stuff. So I think that's going to be a really interesting listen.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's a nice idea, that is. So they're coming out in November. So next month you'll be able to they're available to pre-order from November, it says. So yeah, it's worth. I reckon they'll be worth picking up.
Yes. Oh, and they do caveats it, actually. It just says these commentaries contain no BBC copyrighted elements and do not feature audio from the episodes themselves. They are designed to be played alongside the official DVD releases.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is very cool. So, yes. What did you say, mate? CD and probably iTunes or something? Or
It's going to be CD, and there'll be a download version available as well.
Right.
So yeah, you'll just be able to line it up ready to go as you put the DVD on, like you say, a bit like you do with our ones.
Yeah. How cool is that, though? The kind of community and, the fans putting stuff together like that outside of the BBC. It's very, very cool.
This is why Doctor Who fandom is the best.
Indeed.
Yeah, we come up with these things.
God, we are the best.
We are the best. Kind of reminds me, years ago, the Flaming Lips released this weird box set of 4 CDs, but each CD had like different instruments on. So you had to find 4 CD players and press play exactly the same time to get all the disc players. And it made one song. But I remember having a mission trying to do that. This one, I don't think will be as difficult.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, very cool. Definitely be picking those up.
Yes.
So that's about it for news. There ain't much going on this week, is there?
Yeah, it's a bit light on news this week.
Yeah, so we should get into our review, I reckon.
We should. Buddy, what are we doing?
This week, it is Before the Flood.
You will be a strong beacon. How many boasts can I make of you?
You know, you've got a lot in common with the Devolians. You'll both do anything to survive. They'll surrender to anyone. You will hijack other people's souls and turn them into electromagnetic projections. That will to endure. That refusal to ever cease. That's extraordinary. And it makes a fella think, because you know what? If all I have to do to survive is tweak the future a bit, what's stopping me? Oh, yeah. The ripple effect. Maybe it will mean that the universe will be ruled by cats or something in the future. But the way I see it, even a ghastly future is better than no future at all. You robbed those people of their deaths. Made them nothing more than a message in a bottle. You violated something more important than time. You bent the rules of life and death. So I'm putting things straight.
Very intense, Doctor.
So, part 2, Toby Whithouse again, taking the reins, following up from last week's episode. I'm getting so confused with these titles. Under the Lake, that's the one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, how did this one pick up then? What's going on in this?
How does this one? So, this one picks up very, in a very unorthodox style,
doesn't it? Just
indeed. I've not seen this before. Please tell me if I'm wrong, but I've not seen this kind of meta internal Doctor addressing the audience directly
breaking the fourth wall.
Yes, has this been done before?
Very rarely. I think Tom Baker used to like doing it now and again, but doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, we had a weird opening, didn't we, when we did a Tom Baker story recently?
It was The Deadly Assassin, wasn't it? We
That
had
was
that
it.
scrolling text, yeah.
Yeah, and he reads to the audience like a kind of synopsis, if you like. So this was very, very different. And we'll come on to it in a little while. But so it opens up with the Doctor essentially explaining to the audience, what is it, a paradox?
It's the bootstrap paradox.
The bootstrap paradox, that's right. And it's about his story going back in time to meet Beethoven, essentially. And then the Doctor kind of tells us that Beethoven never really existed. And that it was the Doctor, essentially, who orchestrated all of Beethoven's music.
Yeah.
And it kind of morphed into this cool thing where Beethoven's, I think it was his fifth symphony, was kind of remixed into the Doctor Who TV theme, as the Doctor plays it on the guitar.
Yeah, rocked up version of the theme.
Yeah. So that's how it opened. It's kind of weird. We'll come on to it in a little bit, but so that's how it opens, and then after that, the story kind of picks up from Under the Lake, really. So if going back from last week, there's been a bunch of people killed. They've come back as ghosts. They've worked out that these ghosts have been chanting coordinates. They've gone to that coordinate and found, was it a stasis pod?
Well, yes, we'll go with that. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah,
they found a stasis pod, but it was locked and they couldn't get into it. And originally, I think back then, we thought that it was the Fisher King inside.
Yeah.
But as this episode kind of transpired, it wasn't the Fisher King inside there at all. So this is now the Doctor's gone back in time to the point where that little village that was flooded in the first episode is now very much not flooded. The dam hasn't been broken. And like the spaceship's just landed and we've got that strange Tivolian chap who's arranging a funeral for the Fisher King.
Yeah.
And the Doctor's kind of got a theory about how things are going to be played out. So in a kind of sad scene, really, he almost allows one of the team members to be killed by the Fisher King, so he can kind of confirm in his head what's going on. And then he kind of puts his plan together to put a hologram of himself kind of forward in time. And we all thought it was the Doctor's ghost, but it was a hologram, wasn't it?
Yes.
In order to help Clara and to help himself, because he's trying to help Clara while he's back in time via a kind of Skype chat, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
And then, he kind of foils the Fisher King's plan, floods the geezer, and then it turns out that he's protected himself in that stasis pod. So he busts out of it and saves the day, almost.
Kind of locks the ghost in the Faraday cage, says, "Don't worry, unit will sort it out," and off we go.
Yeah, it's kind of wrapped up kind of nicely, really.
It was certainly wrapped up very quickly.
Yes, I mean there's a couple more points going on, but essentially that was the deal. So I remember last week you said that on the first watch you wasn't too keen on Under the Lake. So what did you think to this one then on the first watch?
First watch, I thought it was a bit similar to my first watch of Under the Lake, actually, quite underwhelming. And I've watched it 3 times since.
Oh, okay.
It has improved, but it didn't improve like Under the Lake did, because I really enjoyed Under the Lake on a second and third watch. But this one just has stayed, well, it's improved slightly, but I still don't think it's a particularly strong follow-up. I think the thing is, although we're getting 2-parters, I think the idea is that each episode is going to feel slightly self-contained. So this one does have a very different feel to last week, which I think did throw some people, but it's kind of intentional, isn't it? Because it's like we're giving you 2-parters, but we're sort of giving you, 2 stories as well. So this was very different to last week's story. So yeah, let's go back to the beginning. and talk about that intro, because like you said, it is very odd to break the fourth wall. It certainly was, I mean, it threw me completely. The first time I watched it, I was like, what's going on? It was like so disconnected from last week's. It's an interesting way to start, and obviously we get this bootstrap paradox, which the Doctor tells us to Google. Basically, if I'm reading this right, this is the same sort of theory as in the Pandorica Opens, when the Doctor's trapped inside the Pandorica, but he gives himself the screwdriver or whatever. Do you remember that?
Yes.
When he's
Yep.
and you're saying, but how could he give himself a screwdriver? He's in the box, but it's him that frees himself from the box. So is it the same theory that basically the Doctor's gone back to give himself the screwdriver, but how could he give himself the screwdriver when he was in there already? That sort of thing.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's basically the same sort of theory. So the Doctor's, like you said, he's in that chamber. He's created the Ghost Doctor, but he didn't know he'd created it. And it's all about when did he have those thoughts, and it's very complicated to explain.
It does get very timey-wimey.
I can't imagine many younger viewers following this story that well, to be honest. It did make me wonder, sort of, because there's been talk about losing the family audience, and you've got kids that watch Doctor Who. I can imagine younger audiences liking it because of the monster and stuff that's going on, but as far as understanding it and it appealing to a family audience, I'm just not sure, because I think it was pretty complicated. It took me a couple of watches to get the overall thing, if you see what I mean.
Yes, it would have been quite confusing.
Yeah,
for a lot of people, basically.
How do you feel about the Doctor playing the guitar every week? Because I'm not sure about this. I love the fact we saw the Magpie amp, love that, but are we going to get this every week? The Doctor bashing out a little tune, or
oh yeah,
I'm just not sure about it.
Yeah, the Magpie electronics thing was quite cool.
Yeah, and I did love the rockier theme. Did you?
Yeah, it's quite cool. Yeah.
Yes, like that.
The Doctor playing the guitar. I think they have to be careful that it's not overused, because I wasn't a huge fan of it when they did it in the series opener. I wasn't. No. I think that it kind of went on a bit too long, that whole scene, and it turned what could have been a really good, really awesome scene into just a bit of a, yes, we get the point kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, this one wasn't too bad, and the way that he started playing it and then it kind of led into the theme was quite cool. But yeah, this whole thing about the Doctor addressing the audience directly, and I'm not sure I'm comfortable with it.
No, it takes you out of the story, doesn't it?
Yeah, I found it. I found it a bit disconnecting, to be honest with you, because I thought, what is this leading into?
Yeah.
What is the point? I mean, once you've watched the entire episode, you get the point, because he is explaining this whole paradox thing, the bootstrap paradox, and you kind of have to get that to understand, how he knew to create that ghost hologram. And the only way he knew, that he had to do it because he was, he found out through, I don't know.
Through the list, wasn't it? Yeah,
through the list, yeah.
So complicated, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So it kind of does a decent enough job of trying to explain that whole thing, but because they're at completely opposite ends, so we had that opening bit where he's talking to us directly. Then you've got the whole episode has gone past. And when you get to the very end where he's talking to Clara about why he created the ghost and how he knew he had to do it, she looks at him very confused. And then we also look confused because too much time has gone past when he's explained why these things happened.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bit, I'm not sure. And the whole, just the whole thing about the Doctor talking to you directly through the TV, it's just a little bit... It was okay, but, I hope they don't do it again anytime soon.
Yeah.
I just found it a little bit panto, a little bit like, he's behind you. It was that, I don't know, it was that whole, going to see a theatre show kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, people have suggested that actually, once you get to the end, he's explaining to Clara at the end, the same sort of thing. He's kind of wrapping it up. People have sort of suggested, well, he's actually talking to Clara at the beginning. But that doesn't really work because he's not, is he? He's talking directly.
He's talking to the
it could
camera.
be Clara. You can just about make that work, but it doesn't really work, I don't think. You can sort of get past it that way. You could say, well, he's actually talking to Clara. He's not talking to you as the viewer. But I don't know, because of the way it's filmed, I can't quite see it like that.
Yeah, I don't think that was the intention.
No.
I think it was meant to be done as if he's talking to the viewer. And it just didn't feel right. You know, the Doctor hasn't done that, as far as I know anyway, in any of the newer Doctor Who since Eccleston.
So they kind of put you on a wrong foot for the start of the episode. Really.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, once that bit had gone and I was back into the story, you know, the core story, it was, I kind of got back into it and I forgot it pretty quickly. But yeah, I just thought it was, they could have spent those few minutes actually getting the story underway.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was okay. I know a lot of people did like it, but yeah, I wasn't over the moon, should I say.
I know what you mean. I think one of the things that's lacking in this part, as compared to the part one, is the lack of threat. Like the good thing about Under the Lake was there was quite a good bit of tension in there, whereas in this we've got, I think, a quite a good villain, the Fisher King. He's quite good. He's got a great voice. But he does absolutely nothing. In fact, even when he threatens the Doctor, he kind of just pushes him out the way. And there's no real sort of threat in this story. There's a lot of running back and forth, back to the Faraday room, back to the TARDIS and all this sort of thing. A lot of back and forth, but not actually much threat or enough to sort of drag me in completely, if you like. There's quite a lot going on. But but there's no sort of, I don't know, there's no urgency to it.
Yeah.
I found, compared to last week where there was quite a lot of tension. And it was done really well.
Yeah, last week we had the, that kind of ongoing threat that the ghosts were out there. And then we had that whole scene where Clara and a couple of other people were trying to lure the ghosts into the Faraday cage. And that was really tense and sort of foreboding. So, but we didn't really have much of that. We didn't have much else going on in this one. That it was... The only bit we had like that was when the Fisher King was out and about, and was kind of stalking them, and they didn't reveal what he looked like for a while. That was pretty cool.
What brought him back to life? That's what I don't get. I've watched it 3 times now because he's in a hearse, isn't he? So presumably he's dead. And then suddenly Prentice or whatever goes back and it's like, oh, he's alive. But what actually brings him back to life? I didn't quite get that, unless he wasn't actually dead.
He wasn't actually dead.
He wasn't dead, so it's just all a ruse to...
Yeah.
Right, okay, okay.
Yeah,
so that's what I didn't get. I was like, he's suddenly roaming around, fit as a fiddle.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't dead at all. Yeah.
I liked the setting, though, of the sort of 1980s, all this Russian sort of propaganda on the walls or whatever it was, and for one split second, I thought there was going to be an Auton in that. You know, there was that sort of... dummy in the phone booth or wherever it was. I like the setting, very dark, very grey. That sort of very simplistic church with the dam in the background. Nice setting for it. And yeah, it started off quite good with them arriving. And who's the girl that got sort of knocked off quite quickly? O'Donnell, yeah, because she's mentioning, she threw in a couple of the old companions, didn't she? Very early on, she's like Rose, Martha, Amy. Harold Saxon. She was sort of talking to the Doctor about him, and he's like, "You know a lot about me," all this sort of thing, and that was quite nice. And she also mentioned I wrote it down wrong first time. I think she said Minister of War.
She did. Yep.
Yeah. Do we know anything about that? Is that just a throwaway line, or do you think that's something it's gonna crop up later? I wondered if that was a sort of Harold Saxon in itself.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure because when she says that, the Doctor doesn't have any clue really. He doesn't really know of anyone called that. So. There is a theory that that's what the Doctor will become.
Minister of War?
In the future.
Okay.
So that's a possibility.
Yeah, because I liked the way he picked up on it and said, "No, don't tell me, I don't know about that one yet." And I thought, I wonder if that's... I wonder if we're going to come back to that. That'd be interesting. Let's talk about Donald briefly then, before she gets killed off. Because one of the things a plus that for me on this episode was that I did grow to like the crew a lot more. I actually grew to quite like the crew by the end of this episode. I'd sort of grew to like them because I think in the first part I thought they were okay, but a little bit sort of cliche. But I actually grew to quite like them in this one, especially when O'Donnell does get killed and Bennett has a go at the Doctor because he works out the Doctor's kind of like you just said. He's kind of just let O'Donnell die to see if his theory was correct, and he suddenly sort of realizes, and he's like, you knew that ages ago, and it's basically, he's like, and now it's getting closer to you and Clara, and now you're going to do something, aren't you? And I really thought that was a great scene. Because of the way Peter Capaldi played it, that he knew that the guy was right, but I thought Bennett was really good in that as well. So yeah, the actual overall crew started to sort of work for me in this episode. So that's definitely one big positive.
Yeah, that was a really cool scene.
It's a great scene.
Yeah. Because the Doctor twigs immediately. He's like, yes, I know what's going on now. And then Bennett tweaks almost at the same time. And he's like, you're right. He's like, you knew this was going to happen. And then he kind of calls the Doctor out a little bit. You know, he says to him, you know, now it's getting closer to Clara. Now you're going to do something about it. But that's really cool. That was really well written.
Yes, I like the fact he called him out on that. And we're starting to notice, I mean, I've just realised there's a bit of a parallel, actually, because Clara also gets her socks pulled up a bit later by Cass, doesn't she? When Clara sends Lun out to get the phone. And Cass says something along the lines of, when did you start putting other lives at risk so easily, or something like that? And, you know, Clara's really quite selfish in that scene. She's actually really quite not very likable.
Oh, yeah.
So we sort of saw that that comparison with the Doctor and Clara both kind of doing what needs to be done, but also the viewer questioning whether it's, you know, particularly nice or particularly right thing to do. So, yeah, it's quite an interesting bit of writing, I thought.
Yeah. So that was cool. I thought O'Donnell was quite cool as well. Almost kind of companion material. Almost. She's quite feisty, very knowledgeable.
Yeah, she's talking about hanging someone outside of a window by their legs or something.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, generally, I thought all the crew actually are pretty good in this. I kind of started to warm to all of them, actually. They all had their own little sort of characters building up. Yeah.
Yeah, Cass and Lun, they were quite cool as well. So a really nice scene at the end where O'Donnell's like, can you translate something to Cass for me? And then he basically tells him to tell her that he's been in love with her and blah, blah, blah.
I liked that. I mean, I know it's
cool.
a little bit schmaltzy, but I liked it because you get Bennett's lost O'Donnell. He's feeling that loss. He's just saying, don't waste any more time.
Yeah.
You know, just do it. And I know that some people felt that there was a love story being shoehorned in there at the end. I didn't feel that. I actually thought it was I could see that they would spend so much time together that they would actually, you know, fall in love with each other. I totally bought into that. I didn't feel it was shoehorned.
No, me either.
You know, I
quite cool.
liked it. Yeah, and I like the Doctor's reaction as well. That he's like, because he needs to do something with the sonic glasses, doesn't he? To Bennett, he's like, I'll do it later. It's like the Doctor just realizing that this is not the right moment. So he is starting to sort of, you know, I think perhaps the Doctor in Series 8 would have just blundered up and done it. When he sort of, you know, you can see that Clara's been showing him the prompt cards. You know, he started to get it. Yeah, it's a nice little scene actually.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
So I think the supporting cast overall were, you know, very good. You know, maybe even better than the first episode.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and I think Cass as well. I mean, I loved the scene where Cass was digging into Clara because she was sort of telling Clara, you know, you're out of order here. You can't just send people out and, you know, like I think Clara says something. I didn't need anyone to translate that sign language or so. Yeah. I thought Cass was really good in this. There was a great scene where the guy with the axe was walking behind her, and obviously she couldn't hear it until she felt the vibrations, and that was good. That was a good scene, I thought. Yes. Nicely done.
Yeah.
And well acted. She's a good actress. I really liked Cass. Feisty, like you said.
Yeah, she was good.
So supporting cast, good.
Supporting cast, good. What do you think to the voice of the Fisher King? Very good.
Excellent. Now, I got a bit of confusion here because I thought it was the guy from Slipknot, but apparently he just did the Raw. Is this right?
That's right, yeah.
So the actual voice was Peter Serafinowicz. Is that right?
Correct.
I didn't know that till about 10 minutes ago because I love Peter Serafinowicz. He did the voice of Darth Maul in Star Wars, didn't he?
Did he?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he did a great sketch show a few years ago. He only did one series of it. I don't know if you ever saw it. So I really like Peter Serafinowicz. And I had no idea it was him doing the voice. So even better. I thought it was great. I thought it really suited the actual look of the Fisher King. Keep going to say King Fisher. Fisher King. I thought it really suited it. Overall, yeah, he's good.
He did do the voice of Darth Maul, didn't he?
He did, yeah. It's a strange bloke. He was in Spaced as well. He's just one of these guys that crops up all over the place.
Shaun of the Dead, yeah.
Shaun of the Dead, yes, exactly. Yeah. What did you think of the overall look of the Fisher King?
Overall, I thought it was really good. I think that it was completely wasted.
Yes.
He looked very menacing. He looked really... The suit was awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really good. The only thing is... he just didn't really do anything. He kind of shoves the Doctor out the way a couple of times and paces around a lot, and that was it. I mean, I understand why. They probably couldn't, because the suit was so big and well done and stuff, they probably couldn't have him legging about and jumping and all sorts, but it was... I just felt like it was wasted. I thought we needed a bit more action out of him.
Yeah, totally wasted. I wanted to see him... I wanted to see him burst out of that casket on the ship and start causing some mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looked like one mean son of a gun.
Yeah.
I think absolutely, totally wasted. Brilliant facial mask, great voice by Peter Serafinowicz, very menacing, really tall. So, I mean, the Doctor looked proper terrified in their scenes together, but all he did was shove him out the way. Yeah. And then it was almost comical when he realises the Doctor's tricked him. He's like, the Doctor lied. And I almost giggled. I don't think it was intentionally funny, but
no.
Totally underused. Yeah, they could have done so much more with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he looks good.
I don't think we'll see him again either because he got wiped out.
Well, hopefully he can swim.
Hopefully.
What was that thing that the Doctor blows the dam up with?
It was one of those power cells from the bottom of the spaceship, wasn't it?
Well, for such a little power cell, it certainly caused a lot of damage, I thought. I was like, what, that one little power cell brought the whole dam down?
Don't underestimate them power cells, mate.
Well, obviously not. No.
Yeah. Next time you find one, don't bleed and drop it.
Actually, someone did, and I'll be careful with those. Somebody did point out a continuity error that I totally missed, actually, with that scene, was when the Fisher King is stood looking at the water rushing towards him.
Yeah.
It cuts to the dam cracking up, and then it cuts back, and he's kind of got his arms in the air.
Yeah.
And he's suddenly got a weapon in his arm. It's like, hang on, he didn't have that a second ago. So, obviously, I don't know if he was trying to... if he pulled it out of his pocket in a scene that we didn't see.
He did have it.
He doesn't in a split second before, though. It kind of appears out of nowhere.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah.
If you watch the scene, I didn't notice it. Somebody pointed it out. I think it was Ryan Anthony, one of our listeners. He just suddenly appears. Very bad bit of continuity. But yeah, he did get wiped out far too easily. I mean, I don't know. It felt like he was just getting going.
Yeah. It was almost like the Sycorax in the first Tennant episode, where the makeup on those guys is really quite mean.
One of the best, I think. I love it.
And they're really threatening and stuff, but they kind of got taken out relatively easy. The Doctor, fresh out of his regeneration and one-handedly just, beats the guy with an, nicely placed orange as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of had that vibe. It was like they look very menacing and very, very mean looking, but, almost wasted in their threats just become almost... I'm not sure what the word is. Their threats become...
Undermined.
Very undermined, yes.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a waste, but yeah, overall, not too bad. The suit was really good.
I like the suit. I was going to say, when he actually came out into daylight as well, I think a few people said, the face was good, but they didn't like his actual costume. But it very much reminded me of sort of classic Doctor Who, actually. It's just a very simple... I kind of liked it. I always like to see monsters on real locations. I think even if it looks a bit like, it's a man in a suit, but yeah, I still like it.
Yeah,
it's very much sort of classic Who to me. What did you think of the guest star, of this episode, Paul Kaye? I mean, we got to see him last week as a ghost. This week he actually got to do a little bit more as the, how'd you say their name? Those things, the race The
what?
The race, the Paul Kaye's playing, those ratty creatures. What are they called? The
Tivolians?
That's the one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So he got to be a Tivolian a bit more this week. And what did you think of his performance?
Bit meh.
I thought an extra from Wind of the Willows had walked on the set. I get that he's trying to sort of emulate the character, because I'm thinking back to how David Walliams was in his episode, but I think Paul Kaye turned it up to 11. and I just found it over the top. In fact, I found it quite cringy, to be honest. I really did. And I mean, he's quite a renowned actor, Paul Kaye. He's been in lots of things, and it's quite surprising that they'd get sort of somebody like him in to do such a minor role and cake him in so much makeup that you can't really see who he is. But I have to say, I seem to be in the minority. I was almost expecting you to say the same, but a lot of people seem to think he was great in it. Personally, I thought it was really cringy. I thought it was really over the top, and the silliness of his performance just distracted from what was quite a sort of dark episode. I found it a very out of place performance, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Me
not
too.
a fan of that.
Yeah. What did you think? Okay, supporting cast overall really, really good. Fisher King voice really, really good, but a bit
Looked
wasted.
good.
Yeah, Prentice very easily forgettable. Clara.
Well, I thought performance-wise, Jenna good this week, performance-wise,
Right.
but I didn't like the way she was written. I'm sorry to be so negative, but there's so many things. I just have to be completely honest, because I hate to just constantly moan. But yeah, I thought she was written really selfishly this week and very unlikable, to be honest. Yeah,
Right.
but I thought the performance she gave doing that was really good. Do you know what I mean? I thought she was definitely better than last week. But yeah, Clara was a complete cow this week, wasn't she? It's all that bit when she said to the doctor, about dying. Don't die with the one after me. Don't die with me or something. Oh my God. Yeah. Pretty harsh. I mean, I get the fact that, she's lost Danny and the doctor's all she's got or whatever, but she wasn't very likable this week in terms of her characterization, I thought.
No, I agree.
But that's obviously done on purpose. But yeah, it wasn't. I found it uncomfortable to watch. Yeah, I really thought Cass was going to slap her when she sent when she sent Lun out to get the phone to basically sending him to his death, more or less. But yeah, I really thought Cass was going to slap her, and I wouldn't have blamed her, to be honest.
No.
What did you think?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. I really like her performance. She can kind of do that character in her sleep now.
Yeah.
But the way that she was written, it was very much like a selfish little child, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of understand in a very small way that she doesn't want to die, flooded in a flooded town somewhere without the doctor, without anybody. And she's very keen for the doctor to sort himself out and come back and save them. But some of the other scenes that she was written in, like that one you mentioned where she sends Lun out to go and get her phone, she doesn't really know 100% that he's going to be okay. She's just kind of basing that on the theory that he hasn't seen the letters in the spaceship yet.
Yeah.
So she's kind of got a theory. She doesn't know for certain, but she still gladly sends him out. So I kind of agree with you. The performance was good, but Clara as a character was written a little bit Rose-like.
I was thinking that, a bit bratty, yeah.
If I'd be so bold. A little bit bratty, a little bit, the doctor's, the doctor cares about me mainly and you lot afterwards.
Yeah, but the doctor was being a bit like that, wasn't he? Where, like, the guy says to him, doesn't he? Like, oh, now it's Clara, now you're going to care, now you're going to do something about it. And the doctor does seem to be going down that same road of because he was doing it in The Magician's Apprentice as well, wasn't he? He was like, oh, Clara, I don't care about anything, just tell me, Clara. It's like, it's almost as if both their worlds are just starting to centre around themselves, looking out for each other, but anything else, can be sacrificed as long as we're okay. So they're both becoming a little bit selfish in that respect, aren't they?
Yes.
Which I'm not sure I like.
Yeah, they are a little bit. It's I mean, it's the doctor's part of it is kind of okay because, the essence of the show really is the doctor and the companion, but I kind of see your point. It's like, they're kind of wrapped up. I mean, the thing with Clara, my point of view is it's like having a really high maintenance partner.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get. It's like, on your phone every 5 minutes, where are you? What you doing?
Exactly.
Yes, don't worry, I'll be home on time. That's the kind of vibe I get from how Clara's character is at the moment.
Did you think it was interesting the way that they did the whole TARDIS not letting the doctor leave, and then we're getting that whole two doctors in the same place, and and all that. I mean, that didn't really go anywhere, but it did make the episode a bit more interesting, didn't it? You know, the whole ripped jacket and all that.
Yeah.
You know, that was quite an interesting little subplot, but yeah, it didn't really go anywhere. I just love the Doctor's ghost. I just love the way Peter Capaldi looked as the ghost. I found the resolution to the episode very, very quickly wrapped up, though. He jumps out the casket. It was all the sonic shades, which I hate.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't a ghost after all. It was just a hologram. It's all just a little bit wrapped up too quickly for me.
Yes. It was kind of done up and on your way.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is maybe that opening scene, maybe there wasn't enough story to get into it anyway. So maybe that opening few minutes, you know, because I said earlier that they probably could have done away with it and just got into the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, once the Fisher King had died and the Doctor had trapped the ghosts in the Faraday cage, that was it, wasn't it? It was like, you know, job done.
Yeah, we needed to see a bit more havoc being wreaked, I think. Would have been good. You know, that would have been good. We should have got the Fisher King up on the deck. That would have been great. But it probably would have. Yeah, I guess it would have messed things up. I do like the idea of the bootstrap paradox though. And when did the Doctor have those thoughts? You know, that's an interesting idea. I do like that. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, as a part 2, just didn't quite hang together for me. It's still an enjoyable watch. But I didn't think it was a particularly great episode overall, personally.
Oh, okay. Okay. So before we get on to our scores and wrap the episode up, just Capaldi, just quickly. I know we're kind of saying the same things about him the last few weeks, but on form as usual?
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he was still. Yes, he was good.
No,
he wasn't really given. Yeah, no, he was. He was good. I was just thinking. He wasn't given. Wasn't getting any Sue lines. I thought he was perfectly good. I mean, he kind of had to do the "I'm going to my death again" thing, which has been overdone a bit. But no, I thought Capaldi's just pretty steady. Yeah, I thought he was good in it. What about you?
I didn't enjoy it as well. It's not the wrong word, really. I still enjoyed it. I didn't think he was quite as strong as last week.
No.
And that's maybe just because he didn't have as many cool lines as last week. But
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, he didn't get many quips in this week.
No. But overall, yeah, thought he was really, really good again. Really enjoying watching him as the Doctor at the moment. Yeah, no complaints, really. Not quite as strong as last week, but I don't really blame him for that. I think that's more just the script, really.
I was going to say it would have been good because we got that face-off with him and the Fisher King, which kind of, I don't know, again, just sort of went nowhere. And that was quite a bit of a wasted opportunity, I think. Because, Capaldi was he looked properly scared, didn't he? It was... I don't know, it was quite a good moment, but it was over just so quick, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, I don't know, a bit of a mixed bag for me this week.
A mix. Oh, okay. Let's get on to our scores, buddy. I think it's you this time to go first.
Okay. Well, I'm going to score it a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah. No, it's enjoyable.
That's still good. Yeah.
Enjoyable watch. Yeah, I was going to say, still good. Still a good episode. Still strong. Still a strong episode. But it just, it didn't quite hang together for me. Certainly didn't enjoy it as much as last week. So, yeah, good, but not great.
Okay.
What about you?
I will give this a 7.
Oh, blimey, I thought you were going to go higher than me.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll give it a 7 because I just felt it lost its... it kind of lost its sparkle. I think Under the Lake was such a good episode and the pacing was spot on. The only one thing that I enjoyed this week a bit more than last week were the support cast.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that they put in some really good performances, but the rest of the stuff, so as we were saying about Clara, you know, not too great. The Doctor, not as strong due to the script. And some other bits and pieces like the Fisher King, massive wasted opportunity there. The character Prentice, a bit annoying. And as we said, you know, everything's just wrapped up too tidily, too quickly at the end. You know, all of those things, you know, kind of brought it down. Initially, when I first watched it the first time around, I thought it was going to be around the same as last week, 8.5. But as I've watched it a couple more times and we've spoken through it, it's, a 7.
Yeah, it would have been a 7 on my first watch. It went up slightly, but I think you're right. I think the supporting cast did it for me. I really sort of grew to quite like them in this one. Yeah. All right, let's see what our listeners thought then.
So let's play our first audio review. This is from our good friend Jay Kent.
Yay.
Hi Gary and Adam, it's me Jay, here to review Before the Flood, which was a lovely conclusion to the two-part, and I'm lucky I went back for a second viewing, because the first time I watched it I did feel it was a bit naff. But I'm lucky I went back for the second viewing because I loved it the second time round. I loved the Fisher King, even if his mouth was a bit phallic, and the David Walliams mole species character. I love their species so much. It's just, they're so adorably pathetic. The scene with Cass, when like the ghost is chasing after her and she kneels down and feels the vibrations, was the most brilliant bit of editing and directing that I've ever seen in Doctor Who through the modern series. It made it even more tense with cutting between the sound of the axe and sound of deafness. It really added something, and in fact, not just that moment, but the whole episode was the most tense that Who has been in a while, and I think it is that particular scene really stands out. It's probably one of my favourites in modern Who. Tiny bit of downfalls. I did feel the romance at the end was a bit forced. I mean, I could buy it with what's his name, Glasses and O'Donnell, but with Cass and I know the translator, his name escapes me, but it's a lovely message, but it didn't need to be forced like that. You don't need two couples in the scene. Sunglasses were overpowered, really. I feel if you're trying to dumb it down, then really dumb it down. I don't see getting rid of the screwdriver done any help, because now the only thing the screwdriver adds is just making it look silly when it's activated. And the four title sequence with Beethoven and the breaking the fourth wall with the Doctor talking to the audience, less said about that the better. But really good overall. I'll give it a good 7, maybe 6.5 out of 10. Nothing outstanding, but it was very enjoyable. I'll be looking forward to next time with Maisie Williams, and I'll see you next week. Yeah, ta-ra!
Ta-ra!
Ta-ra.
Oh, I do love Jay Kent.
Yeah, cheers, Jay. That was cool. Agree with a lot of stuff that you said there. And one of the things that I was meant to mention, actually, when we were talking about, there wasn't much of a threat that we saw from last week's episode. That one scene actually was quite cool, where the ghost is following Cass with the axe on the floor.
Yeah.
And she can't hear it, but we can. And yeah, so that was quite, he's coming.
A very good scene. I love the fact that it had that, they did a strange effect around it, didn't they? Almost like sort of a drawing effect. It's really unusual, but it's a really good scene, that.
Yeah, very cool.
I'll tell you, Jay's just reminded me of something I forgot to say in the review as well. What was the Doctor doing in the casket all this time? If he's been in there for hundreds and thousands of years, what's he been doing in there? Anyway, pause for thought.
Yep.
Yeah, texting, messing about with them blimming glasses. Anyway, let's move on to the next review.
Sure, let's actually go to Facebook. Gina Gro. Oh God, we're so bad with names, aren't we? Gina Di Gregorio. Yes. Brilliant episode. I admit I did have to rewatch the ending to fully grasp it, but I feel as though it tied everything up nicely. Series 8 was fantastic, but Series 9 is blowing me away. And it's very much, it's pretty much cemented for me that Capaldi is officially my Doctor. Love the podcast, by the way, all the way over in the US.
Oh, thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Gina. Ryan Anthony, oh my goodness. I cannot believe how magnificent this series is turning out to be. This episode wasn't great. It was perfect.
Oh, what?
The supporting cast were great. The Fisher King was a marvellous new invention. I really liked Clara in this episode, and of course Capaldi was great. Goes on to say, I've got no negative to say about this episode. It's one of my all-time faves. As an individual and as a two-parter, 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. Thomas Andrew Evans. What a great conclusion to the brilliant two-parter. I love the theme tune played out on the guitar, and I think that the Fisher King was a great new creation. I also love the past references to things like Magpie's Electronics and Saxon. I definitely feel that we could be looking at one of the 12th Doctor's best stories, 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's go to another audio review. This is our buddy Joe Sweeney.
Hello, Big Blue Box podcast. Hope you boys are well, and here is my thoughts of Before the Flood. I thought it was quite a good episode. It's fairly better than Under the Lake. I like the story plot. I thought it did moved along with a nice pace, but there's a little few scenes that did bore me a little bit, but then it did picked up after that, which was okay. And some positives. I like the beginning scene where Capaldi was explaining to us fans about the Bootstrap paradox, and when he played the guitar, it blended in nicely with the theme tune music. And I really hope the show sticks with that theme tune music, because I'm getting sick to death of that horrible, funny, screeching violin tune. So I hope they ditch that and have this guitar theme as a theme tune music. So I hope they're going to stick with it. The Sonic Shades weren't used much, thank goodness, but it did suited Coleman though, rather than Capaldi. Capaldi was brilliant, but his personality to the Doctor softened again, and we still haven't seen his darker side personality to the Doctor since the Witches Familiar episode. Coleman's performance was okay, but yet again Clara didn't do a lot. And I like the scene though where she was trying to talk the Doctor out of dying, like she did with 11th Doctor in the Time of the Doctor episode. I thought that was quite good. The Fisher King he looked awesome, but at the same time he was underwhelming. He didn't do a lot, and he let himself being taken away by the flood so easily. If you see water hurtling towards you, you would run away. You don't just stand there and get yourself being taken by that. And also, I must point out that when the power cell exploded, it looked like it exploded in a small way. No way that small explosion could have made the water dam collapse like that. It would take a lot more for the dam to collapse like that. Anyway, I will score before the flood an overall score of 8.5 out of 10. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the podcast, guys. I'll speak to you soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.
Cheers, Joe. Thank you very much for that one.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
Good stuff. Back to Facebook, Rob Jones. I absolutely love this episode. I felt it benefited me more rewatching Under the Lake a few hours before. Theme tune was absolutely sensational. I thoroughly think that it suits Peter's Doctor much more than the one featured in other stories, and it's always great to watch an episode which I believe is proper Who, in quote marks. Keep up with a great podcast. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Ben Smith. Wow. It was even better than last week's. Capaldi is at his best, and all the supporting cast were fully developed and likeable. The pre-credits were awful, and whilst the Fisher King looked impressive, he was a little underused. Otherwise, this was phenomenal. Whithouse for the next showrunner. As a two-parter, he gets 9 out of 10.
All right.
We've got an amazing review left by our buddy Jeff Waddle, as usual. Yeah,
excellent.
He says, "I don't understand what the hell was going on." That's his review. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Sammy Satine, brilliant episode. Love the 12th Doctor with his guitar. I want more of it. Also love the rock and roll theme tune. I hope they keep it. Wasn't the Fisher King just too real? He did look very good. I mean the amount of time, effort, energy and prosthetics that went into making this creature, and he looked so realistic. Cass was awesome. Poor O'Donnell. Prentice didn't do much though, sadly. Clara is really dependent on the Doctor, isn't she? Very needy. Looking forward to next week. Let's crack on with Alex Kingdom.
Hello, Gary and Adam from the Big Blue Box podcast. This is my review of Before the Flood. I keep getting those titles mixed up, but this episode was great. I really liked it. Definitely better than last week, and I don't give last week a 10 out of 10, but I guarantee you can tell what score I'm going to give it now. But I really liked this episode, especially the Doctor. Now, I know people didn't like the big fourth wall breaking pre-Doctor sequence, but I liked it. And I don't like rock, but I like the new theme. It's better than the cat screechy music. But the episode itself was really good. I really like the Doctor. He's great in this episode, especially when him and Bennett are at like heads with each other, because obviously O'Donnell has died, and that scene was great. And Bennett was very angry at the Doctor, and he pretty much told the Doctor the truth, that the Doctor would only go back to save people that he cares about, like himself or Clara. Cass, Clara and Lon were great. they really had a lot to do in this episode, and it was good to see that they got together at the end, because you all knew they would. And you really felt sorry for Bennett when he didn't get O'Donnell. It's all like, because you really get emotionally attached to these characters. But the Fisher King was great. I like the Fisher King. He definitely had a good look to him, and that's pretty much all I got to say. I give this episode 11 million out of 10. But yeah, guys, keep doing well on the podcast because you're doing great.
Thank you very much, Alex. Lastly, Lewis Palmer. He's put, what? I really don't know. Opening was ridiculous. It felt very, very disconnected from the magnificent Under the Lake. I'm really angry about this. Talk about a slip in quality. Fisher King was great, but so underused. This show is a lottery. One week is great and the next isn't. Gary, this has burnt the bacon.
Oh!
Wow.
Oh, dear.
I should have played the rant clip before that, Lewis.
Yeah.
Let's finish up with some audio. This is our good friend Matt from the Whoedics Reviews.
Hey Adam, hey Gary, hope you're both well. Now, on Saturday, Adam's initial reaction to Before the Flood, I don't think was very good. And I loved it, and everyone else I've spoke to has either thought it was alright or really disliked it. So Gary, please tell me that you like this episode. Like, really, really like it, because I don't see what's wrong with it. I thought it was fantastic. 12 had his best episode since Mummy on the Orient Express. The way that he knew O'Donnell was going to die and he needed to know to clarify his theory was just great. We saw Clara finally have a good part to play as her obsession over the Doctor came out once again, and I hope that continues to play on into however she leaves. Hopefully she does. The group were fantastic. They were so much better than last week. I cared for every one of them, especially O'Donnell when she died. That was quite sad. It was nice to see a refreshing death for once, not like a death but then comes back to life, which Moffat does, like a full-on death. The Fisher King was really good too, although I wish he would have been on screen a bit more. The ghosts continued to be great. I cannot get over that scene where that ghost was stalking Cass with the axe. That was beautifully done. And the whole timey-wimey aspect was done really well by Whithouse too. And as much as I don't like the sonic shades, they weren't overused. They were used well. The hologram thing was clever, trapping the ghosts. So, yeah, all round it was a good mix of horror, sci-fi, and timey-wiminess. So I don't see what the problem is. Apart from Prentice being underused, maybe the Fisher King, and that pre-title sequence, I don't know what that was. It led to an amazing theme tune, but the pre-title sequence was just like, what? So other than that, I loved it, and I can't see a really big problem. I'd probably go as far as to say it's the best all-round Doctor Who episode this series, so I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, and the overall two-parter an 8.5.
Cheers, Matthew.
Cheers, Matt. Yeah, I do love the theme, actually. I've got to say, it does suit Capaldi, that rockier theme.
Yeah, it was cool. It does suit his character at the moment.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they kept it. And Matthew, he agrees with me.
Did you have anything on Geeks at all?
I had a couple on Geeks, yeah. Our old friend Stuart Stockwin. Personally, I think it was slightly better, as last week felt slow and this week had just the pacing. Toby just needs to stick to standalone eps, in my opinion. Also, the theme titles, bring back the 2008 theme, he says.
Ooh.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd prefer the older themes as well. Stephen Bailey, it was okay. The start was strange as hell. Love the new theme. I don't think we're going to get to hear it again, though. I reckon it was a one-off, but we'll see. Callum Johnston, every second was brilliant. 10 out of 10? Whoa. Fraser Lockley, loving the new theme. The narration to the camera is new but natural. And best of all, watched it with my 8-year-old and she was scared, silly, loved it. 8.25. Oh, sorry, talking about the time. 8.25, a tad late for a Saturday night family show, but such is the nature of modern Who. Yeah, I wish they'd stick to a normal time. Andy Spencer just says it worked for me. Smiley face. Jace Harrells, I really liked it. Loved the rock guitar opening titles. Andy Frankham Allen, rings a bell. He says, hi Andy. He says superior to the first part in every way. Clever use of the bootstrap paradox too, and loved the Guitar Who theme. Okay.
Whoa.
Whoa. Dean Jones, I'd say Under the Lake was the better part, but it was a solid conclusion. And 2 more. We got Cousins 2019. He says, much better than episode 3. Loved the timey-wimey bit of Whithouse does it so much better than Moffat has done in the past. Don't really understand how they tied it all up together. That bit at the start with the Capaldi breaking the fourth wall was good, and the guitar titles were amazing. Cousins is giving it 9 out of 10. And finally, Harry Westergaard says, a worthy conclusion. I love the pre-title scene, and I like that we got off the underwater base. Paul Kaye was good, and Capaldi was great. So thanks for your comments, guys. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much. Really, really cool. Really, really appreciate you guys sending in your audio clips and stuff, and your Facebook comments as usual. And I think overall, it's done very, very well. I think the average score is probably a 9, an 8.5 or a 9, I would say.
Yeah. I think pretty much it was enjoyed. As I say, I think so far this series has got off to a great start. I didn't think it was a brilliant episode, but I still really enjoyed it. I still think the first 4 episodes we've got in Series 9 have been great. I'm just wondering, what would you rate it as an overall 2-parter, though? Because people seem to be doing that a lot. So I think last week I scored 8 out of 10. This week, 7.5 out of 10. So I'd probably give it as an overall 2-parter. I'd probably give it a 8.5 out of 10. What about you?
Yeah, I think as a 2-parter, it would probably be an 8 or an 8.5.
Yeah, it's quite a good one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe higher. Probably an 8.5, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Under the Lake certainly boosted that score up a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, as an overall, don't get us wrong, we haven't scored it a 9 or a 10, but it was a very, very good story.
It was still a good watch.
Yeah, and Series 9 is off to a belter.
Oh, isn't it? Yeah, let's hope next week is another one, because it's I've got high hopes because it's Jamie Mathieson next week, and I got high hopes.
Yeah, so next week is The Girl Who Died.
Yes.
Which is going to be cool. That's Maisie Williams, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Maisie
Williams.
I'm just laughing because it seems to be like a real big thing. Maisie Williams. Like, you can't say next week's episode without saying Maisie Williams. So yeah. So we're really really looking forward to it. Yeah, Jamie Mathieson, brilliant, tick. Maisie Williams, brilliant, tick. Peter Capaldi, brilliant, tick. So yeah, bring it on.
Bring it on, yeah. So yeah, cool. So 7 for me, 7.5 for you.
Yeah.
Or was it 8.5 for you?
Oof, no, 7.5.
7.5, yeah, of course. Yeah. So I think we're going to wrap there, dude.
Let's do it.
Thank you very much for sticking with us for episode 60. It's been a really cool one. Enjoyed chatting through news, convention stuff.
Yeah.
And Before the Flood. So yeah, looking forward to next week though. I'm really intrigued as to what's going on. I've seen a couple of trailers that have been put out.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued as to what's going on.
Vikings, isn't it? Vikings next week.
Or are they?
Or are they?
Or are they? Yeah.
Oh, and I've just thought this is the episode with those funny tin men.
Yes.
In it, and I love the look of them.
They look
really.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really looking forward to that. So trivia. Last week we asked you. Tom Baker wanted a talking version of which vegetable is his companion, and the answer, of course, is a cabbage.
Of course.
Believe it or not, of course, yeah. And Ben Smith got that right over on Facebook.
Well done, Ben.
This week, seeing as we met the lovely Sophie Aldred at the convention, here's a question about Ace. Really simple one. What football team does Ace support? She did say it a couple of times, I believe, throughout her tenure as the companion. So jump onto Twitter and Facebook and give us your answer for that. We'll read the correct ones out next week. So what football team does Ace support? Yeah. Simple, but potentially difficult if you haven't seen all of the Ace stories.
I've just had to have a sneaky look at the answer because I love Ace, but I didn't know. Yeah, I've looked at it, and of course I've looked at it now and gone, oh yeah.
Come on, Ace. We got work to do.
Unlimited rice pudding.
Right.
Anyways, head over to you've thrown me off now.
I wish I'd got him to write that in the book now. Anyway.
Unlimited rice pudding. Head over to the website www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. From there you can listen to all the past episodes, and you can jump off to Twitter and Facebook and give us a like and a follow on there. Also, Shorby, check out the amazing Geeks Handbag channel on YouTube and Facebook.
Thank you.
Some very, very good videos there. Go and subscribe and give them a watch.
Yeah.
We will see you next time. Until then, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember, Alonzi!